Hey, I want to bring in Richard Justice for his take on this story. Richard, I don't know where you stand on it. You're listening to our conversation. Andrew
that was
McCutchen,
good, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Andrew McCutchen going to the San Francisco Giants. Is it good for McCutchen, and is this the move that puts the Giants over the top?
Well, you know, the analytics already said the Giants were poised for a big bounce back, that those guys like Pence and Crawford were not going to have bad years 2 years in a row. They're in a very good spot. So now you add two franchise icons. You add Evan Longoria and you add Andrew McCutchen. They're going to be motivated. You guys know what it's going to be like when they're going to play in a full ballpark every night. The culture of Bumgarner and Bochy and Posey. I mean, they're going to love it there. I think that it's really, really solid moves. You know, does it get them past the Dodgers, past the Rockies? I think it certainly gets them in the conversation. Let me just say something about Andrew McCutchen. His legacy in Pittsburgh is pretty cool. 9 years there. The 3 years, his decision to stay was instrumental in the rebuilding. And if you look at those 3 years, 13, 14, and 15, first, third, and third in the MVP voting, 3 playoff appearances, he was great. And you know what they did? He did a lot for the city of Pittsburgh, for the franchise, and all that. But what the Pirates being good did, it allowed people all over the country to say, hey, this guy is one of the best and most exciting players in baseball. You know, I bet he's feeling 1,000 different emotions today as he rides off into the sunset. But I bet he's also excited about it. I need to say one of the coolest days I spent in spring training was the Pirates had a videotape, a highlight of Andrew McCutchen running. It was on the MLB Network one afternoon in spring training. And one player was watching, 2 players. And before you know it, there's like the whole team is there cheering for Andrew McCutchen. I'll never forget Neil Walker said, you know, it's a reminder of how lucky you are when you get to play with a player that good.
Yeah, quite the legacy. Sean Casey's actually going to take a look back at the legacy of McCutchen in Pittsburgh coming up a little later in the show. As for the first moves, like the move before the move, you know, Jersey Shore had the shirt before the shirt. I don't know, Richard, you probably didn't watch that show. But this is the move before the move. Gerrit Cole on Sunday traded to the Houston Astros. They flirted with this for a while. It was eerily similar to Justin Verlander a year ago around the deadline when it kind of fell apart and they eventually went out and got Justin Verlander. Gerrit Cole's impact on the Astros, what do you think that will be?
I think first you look at it and you say, okay, this is the best rotation in baseball right now when you have Keuchel and McCullers when they're healthy and Verlander and Cole. It's good. And he will benefit from Brett Strom, the pitching coach here. I mean, his best pitch is his slider. He's got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. They'll probably, you know, he'll work with Brian McCann, who John Smoltz knows pretty well in terms of what pitches he throws and what situation. It's a good culture for him to be in. But I'll say this, the Astros were not as confident about the depth and quality of their rotation as maybe people on the outside. Remember, Keuchel and McCullers spent time on the disabled list the last 2 years. So while it is a luxury, they felt like if we're going to contend again, you know, we need a message to the players, but B, we also need some insurance for the depth of our rotation in real terms.
And once again, Richard, they didn't part ways with like the creme de la creme of their farm system, which is a really big victory for Jeff Luhnow in that front office.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing all over the game is there are certain young players that general managers aren't going to part with that they see as part of the future at a controllable cost and all that. And for the Astros, that was Kyle Tucker and Forrest Whitley, the young right-hander Forrest Whitley, Kyle Tucker, an outfielder. They see Whitley as being part of the mix next year in the pitching staff. The guy throws 100. The third guy is Derek Fisher, the young guy scored one of the winning runs in the World Series. I mean, I was surprised they didn't give him up. He figures in the mix next year. These are good players. Colin Moran has got a chance to be a good player. He was almost the #1 pick in 2012 when Carlos Correa went #1. But, you know, did they give up players that makes fans go, ouch? No, they didn't give up any players like that. But they did give up 4 guys, 3 of whom figured on the big league roster next season.
Yeah, an exciting day for the Houston Astros. Richard Justice with us here on MLB Tonight. Richard, thank you very much.